Hey, Satanico here once again for God Loves Comics with another comic book haul video for you today. And I've actually already opened these up just now because I finally learned that there's nothing quite so interesting about watching a pair of hands fumbling endlessly with tons and tons of tape and cardboard boxing. So I've just opened them just in advance and start right off with this one, and that is Swamp Thing number 58. So for this I paid $4.79. This is just part of two comics that I bought. I just bought two Swamp Thing issues. I bought this solely because when I was doing the Swamp Thing reading on my channel, you know, I loved all of the issues. Of course, this was probably the best issue featuring the Hawkmen that I've ever seen. Not that I read very many Hawkman issues when I was growing up, very few actually. Mostly just what I saw of him in Justice League, but as typical, it was like Alan Moore, even when he was just playing in the DC sandbox and it was in some ways beneath him, he wrote the best. This isn't actually Hawkman and Hawkgirl, but they're a pair of Thanagarians that are very similar and very temperamental, and at odds with Adam Strange's people. But the thing is, he wrote the best Adam Strange story, the best Hawkman story, the best stories with Etrigan the Demon and Spectre and Phantom Stranger, Dead Man, etc., and the best Floronic Man story by far. So, and obviously the best Swamp Thing story. So it's pretty incredible what he was able to do. And then this is a little bit more valuable. This is number 46, and once again, this is the Justice League Dark, which I had no idea even existed, but I guess it makes sense. I got the first appearance of them in this. It's also a special Crisis crossover, and I was reading Crisis way back when, but you know, I didn't follow all the crossovers and all of that stuff. This one actually cost $5.50. The previous one cost $4.79, and on my comic shop, this goes for 18 bucks. I don't think you get 18 bucks for it in the wild, but you never know. But both of these are really nice copies. Definitely looks 9.0, probably higher. Haven't seen the back, of course. And the same. I don't see any problems with those. So let's move right along. Mostly got those just because I like the series so much. And next up, this guy did something I hate, in that he taped up the bags on both sides, and when you use packing tape, it usually, even if you try to peel it off, it usually tears up the bag, or it leaves a very sticky mark. I can cut this, but you know, it's just always kind of a problem. I just wish they'd wrap it in paper and then tape it up, or not tape it at all. But this one came loose pretty easily, so not a big deal. Okay, so I just threw this in because I was just getting one comic from this order, and then I saw this for $2, and you know, you're always trying to save a little bit on shipping, so I was like, okay, I'll get that for $2. Only primarily it's a variant, but I don't care about that. I don't think it's of any value, but primarily because I just like the well, I was going to say I like the J.H. Williams art, but I don't think that has J.H. Williams in it. It actually has Steve Epting, so whatever. But it's still Batwoman number 1, but it's not of any value. I just tossed it in there because it was $2. And then this was what I was there for. This is Batman 359, and this is part of the whole Killer Croc sort of first appearances. This is really his third appearance in a row. He was in a cameo where you didn't really see him in 357, which was probably the big key because that has also the first Jason Todd. Then you've got the second key, which is really the first full appearance of Killer Croc, and then 359 is the first appearance of him on the cover, And you also see the Joker and, you know, Batman's Rogues Gallery. This comic was pretty much worthless. I mean, it was $3.57 that was the big value, and then $3.58, which I always think is kind of a steal for a, you can find it usually very cheaply. But I sold $3.58 and $3.59 together once for $60, and that was, I don't know, 2 years ago. So, but now I see $3.59s going up. It's getting a little bit more hard to find very cheaply. So I end up having to pay $24 for this because I was in an auction and people were bidding for it. But my comic shop has a consigned copy at 8.0 for $81, a 7.0 for only $38. And then Go Collect has 7 sales of a 9.0 at $60. Is this a 9.0? Whoops, there's that tape again. Got a little blunt at the bottom right corner, and other than that, maybe a tick around where the staples are. But is it a 9.0? I think so. But some people may say that's overly optimistic. It actually looks really great. I'd have to see the back cover, of course. But so $24, I don't think I overpaid for it. I think it's actually best if I bundle it with a copy of $3.58, I should say. And then I think I could sell them both for considerably more than I pay for the two of them. Artistically, nothing special. I love $3.57 because it has Don Newton art. $3.58, I don't know, I think it's Kurt Swan or something. And then this one says it's the first, it's a Hannigan Giordano cover, but then it's the first DC work of Dan Jurgens, which is completely meaningless in terms of as a key and even aesthetically. Dan Jurgens always very utilitarian artist. I remember him from Warlord and a few things, but didn't really care. And I love when packages, the great thing about these things is, you know, people are sending things in Gemini mailers, so you always get a free Gemini mailer with it. That's always great because I'm having not to buy any because I've got so many from these comics halls that when I sell something, I can just send it back out in a Gemini mailer that somebody else sent me. Okay, and this one starts off pretty interesting. I do remember this guy now saying that he sends a free comic with every order. So he sent me this, Batman 39, King Jones Belair. It's probably not worth anything, but it's actually a really nice cover. I mean, I don't collect very many modern comics at all anymore, but actually the art inside for modern comics also looks good. It'd be helpful if I showed it to you, but yeah, it's not bad. I mean, it's not bad. It's actually pretty nice. Joelle Jones. So it seems like I vaguely heard from her on another from another YouTuber's channel. It's actually nice, but for free, so that's good. Not complaining about that. Move that over, and it's completely unrelated to the comic that I ordered with that, but I ordered this again solely out of nostalgia. But nice. It's a nice looking copy. It is the Mighty Thor number 5 annual, king size annual number 5, with a Jack Kirby cover. And then I believe, I don't remember if it had Kirby art inside. I think it's John Buscema art inside, or Buscema. But this is just, I have a copy of this that I bought, you know, as a kid, and love this issue. You know, just a battle of the Greek gods and a battle of the Asgardian gods. So that, to me, is Zeus and Odin, obviously Thor and Hercules. Hercules was always incredibly fun every time. And I think Ares, the god of war, is in there, of course, you know. So you've just got an Achilles. You've got a ton of just really great, like, Greek and Norse mythology. So I bought this purely on a whim. It's not any great value whatsoever. I think I paid like $3.69 for it, but then obviously I paid about $4 as shipping. So it's not, there's no value there, but at least not right now. But I mean, just the value is the Kirby cover. And oh, I didn't open this one yet. And just a story. Okay, and then for some reason this guy, he sent the Gemini mailer, you know, which is cool, but then he also like wrapped it up in a bunch of cardboard HP packaging. He could have probably just taped it up, you know, and it came from something called Radical Comics, Rad Raptor, I'm sorry. So he could have easily just taped up the Gemini mailer and put the label over the label where he got it from. Would have been fine. Oh, okay, that was the one that had the package that had the 359 Batman 359 in it. And let me get my cutter. And we're back after another zero edit. Okay, and this is another really nice clean Gemini mailer that I can reuse. So we still ended up with the dead air of me cutting and opening a box after all, just for old time's sake, since I have yet to edit anything. But I'm at least going a little bit faster instead of dragging out 4 or 5 comics to 30 minutes. I'm learning my lessons slowly but surely. Okay, now he has that in Gemini mailer, and then he's got a sandwich between 2 more pieces of cardboard with tape all around the sides, really well packaged. And that's a good thing, because these have a little bit more value to them. Some of those others, 359 was a small key, and there's no real big keys in this either. This is just a very collectible series, as you will see, series that you've seen maybe a couple of times in the past somewhere, if I can get through this tape. Alright, it's got tape, green tape everywhere. More tape. See, it's still all taped up, so should have done my preliminary opening on all this, but I didn't anticipate this degree of tape. At least this is kind of tape that comes off. It's not the blue tape, but it's green tape that has the same level of stickiness. Not as bad as the transparent packaging tape. Yeah, it comes right off. Nice. Okay. Alright, so where are we? Okay, so there we go with Uncanny X-Men 118. I own a copy of this that I bought when it came out for 35 cents, so that was a good investment. It's not a super valuable issue, but you see Sunfire there, that's pretty cool. Let's see, I paid 11 bucks for this. Now MCS, it's a crazy price. I don't remember if this is consigned or if this is just their actual price, but they've got a 9.0 for 140. They've got a 7.5 for 62. But then you see the real price on Go Collect, where they have sales, multiple sales at 9.0 for only 46 bucks. Still, if you take into consideration I paid $11 for this, which was really a steal. I thought, especially this low number, 118, very close, very close to the origins of the Uncanny X-Men, the new team back in '94. That's actually a really good buy. This one kind of slipped through the cracks. It was like people were hot and heavy bidding on others, and then this one kind of popped up and it kind of slipped through the cracks. So getting it for 11 bucks, if it's an 8.5, it's still a $40 comic, maybe a $30 comic, but so either way, really good deal. Now, the next one is the most expensive in the lot, surprisingly. And this is one I don't remember if I have in my collection. I don't remember if I bought this one. It seems like I did because I very specifically remember the cover. But, I mean, what's amazing about this comic, it's a great cover by Byrne and Austin. But, the proletariat is a really clever sort of twist, when when Colossus becomes the proletariat, he becomes an ultra-communist, essentially. You can see, sort of the hammer and sickle. You can see Lenin. That's Lenin, not Stalin. Lenin is the bald one with the pencil mustache. Stalin is the one with a really nice head of hair and a much thicker mustache, and was a lot more murderous even than Lenin was, Vladimir Lenin. But proletariat, no kid, when I was a little kid, had no idea what the proletariat is. I'm sorry, the proletariat is actually the term, but the term that Claremont is using for the single character is the proletarian, but that's the same thing, basically. But really beautiful copy. Looking for any flaws. Hard to find any. There probably a couple of spine ticks or whatever, but definitely very fine plus, maybe 9.0. And I paid $28 for this. MCS's highest grade for this is 7.5, and they've got it for $50. But then they've got two consigned for 8.0 for only $42 each. So if this is a high grade copy, I mean, $28 is still a good buy. Maybe it's a $50 comic, but maybe I overpaid for it a little bit. There was a lot of bidding for this one. People just, I think primarily because people like the cover. I don't think the proletarian as a, stands out as much of a key, unless, you never know, an X-Men movie comes out and suddenly you see the proletarian as the guy. Okay, and then this is a classic cover. Classic cover, classic issue. Don't miss the special issue containing more shocks and surprises than ever before. Beautiful cover, Dark Phoenix, Cyclops in grief, and of course Vernon Austin. Again, I paid $26.37, pretty close to what I paid for 124. And MCS has this as 8.5 for $83. Go Collect, though, they have 9.0, they have multiple sales of 9.0 for around $50. So still, you say $26, if I could sell this for $50, and it's definitely, I think, a 9.0 again. That's why I bought these. These were all high-grade comics. I mean, they're not, I don't think they're 9.6s or 9.8s. I'm just opening them. I'm just seeing them for the first time. Of course, I went over the scans as best I possibly could. There were decent scans on eBay. You can go over them enlarged, as every corner and every spine, and they looked high grade. And of course, they're in the bags too. So I'm not seeing the back covers, but definitely I think are high grade comics. And so, if I paid $26 for this, and it's a $50 comic, now twice as much. And I actually have, this is a duplicate copy. I have one of these in my collection already. And I have one of these in my collection already. And this used to be one of the least sought after for whatever reason. I was always kind of disappointed in that because it's a double issue. Marvel Girl, Cyclops, Phoenix Must Die. But I think everybody bought it, so maybe that limited. And its previous one was 40 cents. This going to double size was 75 cents. But I've at least got one. Now I'm feeling a little ding here. I'm not sure what it is. A little, hopefully that's in the bag, but there might be a little tiny dent in the actual comic face itself. But then the rest of the issue looks fantastic. Again, corners look great, spine looks fantastic, very high grade, beautiful copy. This little dick, not dick, this little dent. Did I just say little dick? I'm sorry. That's not for kids, by the way. This little dent right here where the Marvel Comics group is, maybe the biggest concern with this issue. But I paid $26 for this. These were all, 124, 136, 137 were all pretty much the same price. MCS's highest grade for this is 7.5 at $57. They've got consigned 9.0 at $150, but Go Collect has a 9.0 at $70. So if this is a 9.0, and I would say it's an 8.5 to 9.0 at the very least, I definitely got double my money and maybe triple my money, for this. Of course, you got to find the right people. I mean, obviously, this sold on eBay for $26, so probably have to send it to MCS to get $75 out of it, and then obviously they would take their cut and plus the shipping and everything else, but still definitely a profit if I'm looking to sell it. And then lastly, there is 138, another great cover. I remember loving this cover when I was a little kid. Exit Cyclops. You get all the color holds on all these, back issues, including what came sort of classic X-Men 101, now a big key, and as well as the Silver Age X-Men before the new team, and that's a great issue as well. It actually looks again in fantastic shape. So used to these Winna toys or a shopping spree that hardly even notice it anymore, but and I only paid $15.55 for this. MCS has a 9.2 at $130. They have an 8.5 at $94, and then there's a 9.0 also listed at only $44, so it's all over the place. But again, if I pay $15.55 for this and it's a 9.0, then I could probably at least double my money. If again, I bought it on eBay for $15.55, so maybe even that's questionable. But especially when the new X-Men movie comes out, these will heat up again. And since I have duplicate copies, probably looking to sell them eventually, but they're very nice high grade. And so that's pretty much it. It's this little X-Men haul, which all together, by the way, what I have 5 comics, cost me $125, so it wasn't cheap. But say 5 comics for $125, they're more than $25 each, so it works out. And then just pick this up for nostalgia's sake. This one came for free. This one basically came for free at $2. This one is a small key that I think can be bundled with the prior issue and sold a little bit easier. And then there's these 2 great Alan Moore classics, Copper Age classics, I guess, 75-cent comics, that are also in high grade. So, and they won't lose their value. So that's it for now. Thanks very much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that crap. And thanks again. I'll see you next time with another comics haul, and also check out my readings. I've got to finish that Miracle Man, don't I? Okay. Talk to you next time. Bye.